Hello, and a very warm welcome from the University of Birmingham. My name is Professor Celia Greenway. I am the Deputy Pro-Vice Chancellor of Student Engagement, and some of you may have met me at one of our recent open days. Today, we're going to tell you how we work together to support our students. And it is, I know, a very, very nerve-wracking time for parents and carers. My own daughter came to the University of Birmingham. I can remember how I felt at this moment in time. I felt apprehensive and I wanted to know how it was going to work out for her. So we hope today's talk will enable you to feel confident and to feel that you can trust us to support your child to make good progress when they're with us. So I'm now going to pass over to my colleagues so they can introduce themselves. So, Amira.
Hi. So I'm Amira and I'm the Guild President at the University of Birmingham and at the Guild of Students. The Guild of Students is the student union here at the university. I was elected by students earlier this year to be in the role, and I'm part of a 7-person officer team. Having had the best couple of years here at the University of Birmingham, studying music as my undergraduate degree, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the city of Birmingham and this university. I love my time at UAB. But my experience wouldn't have been half as fun or transformative without the Guild of Students. That's why I encourage every single student here to get involved in the Students' Union. If they do, I guarantee that they'll graduate with much more than a degree.
Hi, I'm Drew Linforth. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Services and I'm responsible for wellbeing and partnerships at the university. So I oversee student wellbeing support, student mental health support, wider student experience support and the chaplaincy function.
Hi, I'm Amy Church. I'm Customer Operations Manager for Student Accommodation. So I'm part of the team that looks after our students whilst they're living with us.
So now we move to the first question. So what can our new students expect in the first few weeks at university? So every school will have a full induction and welcome package prepared for the students. Over the summer, we spend time working on our lectures, our teaching materials, and also we think about the skills the students that are joining us will need to help them thrive in the first few weeks. They also, most importantly, will meet their personal academic tutor. Now, I'm responsible for personal academic tutoring across the university, and every student on arrival in their first week will meet their personal academic tutor. That tutor will meet them in their first term, in their second term, and in their third term, and ask them how they're getting on, and help them and make sure that they're signposted to the right support services. We make sure that our students feel safe and secure in their first few weeks with us, and we help them enjoy meeting people and making friends, because actually they will get more support from their peers perhaps than they do from academics and more enjoyment, but we're aware that we're the first people that they meet, so we're all prepared to give everybody a really big welcome. I'm now going to hand over to Amira and she's going to talk about that peer support and peer network.
Thank you, Celia. So at the Guild, we have the Guild Advice Services, which all students will be able to access during their first few weeks of Welcome. But Welcome Week is a really exciting time over here at the Guild. So we have multiple events. We have our fairs, our Welcome Fairs, our Societies Fairs, our MedSoc Fair, as well as multiple Freshers events happening in those first few weeks. Be sure to get involved with our elections, as they'll be coming up with the autumn elections at the beginning of the semester, and there'll be many more things for students to get involved with, whether it's groups, societies, volunteering, charities and more.
So what can we expect from welcome and arrivals? So we start with our wellbeing marquee in the wellbeing space, where there'll be lots of opportunities for students to engage with each other, engage in different activities, meet our teams, but also, really importantly, come and find a bit of a chill out space, because occasionally for students the whole thing can be a bit overwhelming during that first week. The most important thing for me is that actually there's always going to be someone there to help, always someone there to support. We work really hard to make sure that students feel welcome, part of our community and supported all the way through those first few weeks. Once we get into teaching, we have our student experience and wellbeing teams that will be available both within our college teams but also within student services as well, because I think it's really important that it's not a linear journey. and always there's someone there to support with our mental health and wellbeing team.
So obviously on the villages it's going to be an incredibly busy time for us over Welcome Weekend and Welcome Week, where we will be welcoming approximately 6,000 students into our accommodation. So as you arrive onto our sites, please do look out for our friendly teams who are there to direct you to your accommodation and to help you unload all of those items into your room so that you can get it looking the way that you want to. There will be events taking place throughout that entire period, starting with pizza parties, which are always incredibly popular. Everyone loves a free Domino's, and it's a great chance to meet as many people from different accommodations as you want to. And then a variety of events will continue across that week, run by our fantastic hall reps team. They take place around certain accommodations, but anyone can go to those events. You don't have to live in that specific accommodation to go. You will also get a chance then to meet our mentor team, which is a peer-to-peer support team run by the Guild of Students, and you will get the chance to meet them again as they start to come around to your flat during Welcome Week to do a shared living agreement so that you and your flatmates can all sit down and discuss how you want to live in this shared space together.
I think the other thing to say is that as well as the fantastic range of support that's going to be available within the accommodation, of course we run lots of different events for all different types of students. So we recognise, of course, we've got students coming from all over the world, but equally we've got loads of students from our local area. So you'll find throughout that week and certainly into the start of term that we have events specifically for international students, commuting students, and a whole host of others as well.
And of course it doesn't just stop with the first few weeks. We continue supporting students throughout their time with us. So we're now going to move on to looking at how we support a student through their journey with us at the University of Birmingham. So I mentioned the personal academic tutor. And the personal academic tutor doesn't just stop seeing your student or seeing your child in their first year with us. It goes beyond that. They work with them throughout their time with us on campus, throughout their time during their studies. So those regular meetings continue, and they continue to meet with groups of peers, so you have a peer support network. But we don't just work on academic progress. We look and see what personal development needs students have. So this year and every year we look at careers, we look at employability, we look at making articulate and confident students. And every year, at the end of the year, we're going to devote 3 weeks to looking. I know 3 weeks doesn't sound a long time, but actually a 3 whole week time out of a semester is a lot of space, looking at how to improve students' confidence in applying for jobs, building up their CV skills, and looking at those things they can do beyond the curriculum. And that's actually to prepare them for life beyond us. So although I'm talking to you today at the very first stage of their career with us, I'm actually thinking about that day when they're graduating, when I'm seeing them in the Great Hall, and when they're moving beyond working with us as an institution, to contributing to society and getting their first job. So part of that enrichment is working with the Guild. So I'm going to hand over to Amira now, and she's going to talk about the fantastic range of activities that the Guild offer.
Yeah. So thank you. So there's a lot of support that the Guild offer to students throughout their time at the University of Birmingham. Amy already touched on the student mentorship scheme that we run, but there is so much more. We have a 7-person officer team who are dedicated to supporting you and making sure that your views are heard. Our new democratic system, which is coming into place, will speak to making sure that students' voices are heard, and the changes that you want to see on campus, the things that you want to see happen, can all be done through that. As well as that, we obviously have Guild advice. So Guild advice can help with from mental health to housing to all sorts of support for students in terms of extenuating circumstances, etc., etc. Our officer team and our part-time officer team are attributed to various different identities and groups. This speaks to the ethnic minority officer, to the ethics and environmental officer, to the postgraduate officer, to the international officer, and much more. So make sure you do lean on the Guild for all of the support that you can have.
So in terms of the professional services support that's available, we're really proud of the range of support that we're able to offer all of our students across all of our study levels. In each of our schools and colleges, we have student experience teams who provide a range of different events and activities to develop cohort communities, help enhance the student experience. They work really closely with our academic leads and our academic teams within each of our colleges. And then in terms of the more general wellbeing support, we have a really extensive range of different services on offer for all of our students that's available to begin with 24/7. So we have You Be Heard, which is our 24/7 mental health helpline, which is available to all of our students, no matter where they're based in the world. We have wellbeing officers in each of our schools and colleges who provide support across academic guidance, practical support. They're reasonable adjustment plan coordinators, and generally they provide a listening ear. We also have Pause at UOB, which is our flagship and internationally recognised and completely unique wellbeing drop-in service which we run with Birmingham Solihull Mental Health Foundation Trust, Forward Thinking Birmingham and the Children's Society. And then we also have ongoing counselling support through our mental health and wellbeing team. In addition, we also support with students with disabilities, mental health diagnoses and neurodiversity through our reasonable adjustment plan process. So if you do think that any of our students who are coming to us have not registered for that support, who do identify as having those conditions, make sure you do that as soon as you're able to.
So in accommodation, we understand that transition to more independent living can be phenomenally daunting for people. So we have a team on site 24/7, 365 days a year. They're ready to help and support our students living with us. Each of our residences has a dedicated manager who's available for queries or concerns, and we work incredibly closely across student services with our colleagues in the Guild and the colleges to make sure we're offering kind of a joined up support across all of those areas. We also have our business development team who are based on campus, and they can support with things like more private accommodation, so not living within university accommodation but third party accommodation, financial concerns, anything like that. And then, as I said before, we have our mentor team who are a peer-to-peer resource there to support our residents, and they offer a wealth of support and advice around best ways to study for exams, managing your money, getting on with your flatmates, and how to resolve any conflict that may come up when you're living with new people.
That's great. Some really good and useful advice there, and really we do offer a great range of support for students throughout the year and throughout the vacation actually. So we are open all the time except for Christmas Day. So actually our library and all of the support services are here for students on campus and online throughout the year. And Drew mentioned the mental health support, and that's available 24/7, 365 days of the year. So we are a living community that doesn't ever really stop. We're working as a community to support. And finally, we move on to our advice to you. Our top tip for you as a parent or a carer with your child coming to university. So, as I said at the beginning, I'm really well placed, I guess, to give this advice. My child came to university. She was 18. I was worried. It was a very big experience for me. I have one child, so for her to come away to university was a big, I suppose, and I'm going to sound emotional now because I can remember how I felt. It was like it was a very significant moment. I spent a long time mentally preparing for her to leave home. And yes, there is the Toy Story moment. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Toy Story 3. When the child goes to university, that's how it feels. You do go back and sit in their bedroom. But I can assure you by Christmas when they come back, your life has moved on. But I will say that the thing I would say to you is just don't stop being a parent or carer. Remember that. We're not a big school. You won't receive a report from us at the end of term. So it's up to the things that we've discussed today. Check in with your child. Check in to see that they're happy. If you haven't heard from them for a few days, we know that WhatsApp is a phenomenon. Most students WhatsApp their parents about small things. But if you haven't heard from them, don't assume they're clubbing. Don't assume the worst either, but just check in with them. And if they're saying, oh, I'm really worried about my assignment, remind them that they've got a personal academic tutor, that there is academic skills support that they can have. So just don't stop being a parent is my strong advice to you. And I'm going to hand over to Amira now.
I'm probably less well versed. But I think for me, when I was first going to university, having that contact, not only with my mum and my father, but with my sisters as well, having that regular contact, as you were saying, using those platforms is so important. I think also trusting your child. They've made a decision. They are grown in some ways. They still have so much more to grow. But while they're at university, there is an environment designed there to support them in that growth, and they will thrive, and it will be hard. And I think it's inevitable at university to go through hard times. There are the ups and the downs, and just being there and supporting, but also knowing when to be right there and when to give them space and support, I think is the best advice that I can give.
That's really good advice. And as a parent myself, I am absolutely dreading the day that I have to see my two off to university. But I think being on the other side of the table, it's such a wonderful, fantastic experience for the vast, vast majority of all of our students. I suppose the key thing from me is that it does take time for some students to settle in. It's not a linear journey. There will be ups and downs. The best thing that I could suggest is to continue to engage with your child, with your students, making sure that they're aware of the services that are available. All of the things that we've got are very publicly available on our website. And, ultimately, if you're unsure, you are welcome to contact us to ask for support and advice. I suppose one of the key things to stress is that we're not able to give out any information. So as Celia said, we're not a big school. We're not able to work like that. But actually, we do work really well in partnership with students and their support network when there are difficulties, and it's something that the student wants their support network to be involved in. So we would really encourage that wherever possible.
So I think I'd echo what Drew has just said there, in that it's an incredibly exciting time, but it does also sometimes take time to settle in. It can take a little while to find your tribe. Those may not necessarily be the people that you're meeting the very first few days that you're there, and you may be meeting them through partaking in the wide range of activities that the university puts on. So just encouraging them to engage in all of the activities that are on offer, to engage in the support that's on offer, to remember to take plenty of rest as well. Freshers' flu is a very real thing when you've been trying to do things. Go to every activity for a week. And also encouraging them to understand that this is a stepping stone in their development. So if they're experiencing, say, a maintenance issue in their accommodation, please do encourage them to come and speak to us directly about it, rather than asking you to make the call on their behalf. Like I said, our team is available 24/7 to help with any issues they may have. So please do come and talk to us.
And finally, this is my finally, I'd just like to finish as I started by offering you a really warm welcome to join our community. We are a strong community and we work together to support our students. And this is a very warm welcome from all of us. And I hope that we've given you a taste of all the support that we offer our students and the reassurance that we do work together. It's been great talking to you. And again, a really warm welcome to the University of Birmingham community.